Hi, I'm Ashley.
Hi, and I'm Whitney,
And we are the Back Porch Mamas Fellowship. We're two mamas sharing real-life conversations about faith, motherhood, marriage, and homemaking with plenty of encouragement, laughter, and grace along the way. So grab your coffee
or sweet tea,
settle in, and be part of the community where faith and everyday life meet, because here there's always room for one more on the porch.
Hey, welcome back to the Back Porch Mamas Fellowship. We hope your week was really, really good. And so, Ashley, how was your week?
Oh my goodness. It was a crazy week. So last week, shortly after we recorded the podcast, I got really sick. I think I got food poisoning and I was down for the count for all of Sunday and most of Monday. So yeah, that was a little tough, but I recovered and ended up being a pretty good week. How about you, Whitney?
It was really good. I do remember you being sick. I even told Adam on the way home. I don't think I've ever seen Ashley just be like, you know what? I'm done now. I'm going to go lay down. I was like, I hope she's okay. Yeah. My week was great. I've been still dealing with my chickens and tending to my garden every single day. And Mother's Day was this weekend. We had an amazing Mother's Day. Sadie got dedicated at church on Mother's Day. We got professional pictures taken on Mother's Day at church.
Oh, that's exciting.
And she kind of ventured off on her own and went to her own 3-year-old room while I worked with the kindergartners at church. So that was really exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, definitely a very good week, I think. Yeah, I've just been trying to keep it low key. Well, obviously I was recovering for a little while there. Some of the things that we've been talking about on the podcast is basically just all I've been doing. I got back into spring cleaning. I deep cleaned my kitchen, scrubbing the greasy, dusty mess off the top of the microwave. Yeah, that was real bad.
Yeah.
Yuck.
I do not like anything in the kitchen where you have grease nearby is disgusting.
Yeah, that one was bad, but it feels better now to have it all nice and cleaned and done. I even got up on the step stool and wiped down the top of the cabinet doors where dust could collect up there. I got all of that and just... So yeah, I feel a lot better. And then I moved on to the living room and oh my gosh, our living room tables have grooves in them. And so much junk had collected in there that it looks like they were supposed to be black. And as I started cleaning, I realized that was just dirt and stuff that had accumulated. So I feel so much better now that I truly deep cleaned in there, got the little scrub brush and scrubbed it all out.
Yes.
It is looking so much better now.
I take a toothpick around when my kitchen table has a ridge, and sometimes, obviously, I don't do it that often, but I do it every now and again.
Yeah. Like the concept of being nose blind, I think you get blind to the dirt, especially when you see it every day.
You do. You don't see it.
Yeah.
Something can be slapped up behind the trash can and you can be like, oh, I need to wipe that. And then you'll get sidetracked and you'll see it again, but you eventually stop seeing it.
Yeah.
It's not there to you anymore. And then you're like, oh my gosh, how long has this been here?
Yes.
When you finally get around to scrubbing it off.
Finally scrubbing it off. Yes. Oh my gosh. That is so true.
I wanted to read to you guys when Sadie got dedicated at church. She got a thing to hang up in her room. It says, I am Sadie, the daughter of the King, who is not moved by the world, for my God is with me and goes before me. I do not fear because I am his. And I thought that was so sweet and so important.
That is really sweet.
I wanted to get her dedicated at church. I wanted to do it last time they did it, and I ended up not doing it. But now that I did it, I just feel so good about it. And I feel like Sadie understood, to an extent, what we were doing, you know, because she talked about Jesus all day long. Jesus loves me and Jesus loves you. And it feels really good that I feel like she's being brought up the right way.
Yes.
That's so important to me because they're the only things we can take with us when this world is over.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very true. I know I was praying the other night for the wisdom of how to proactively raise Luke in a house that prioritizes Jesus in our lives.
Yeah.
Because if my parents did it, I don't recall. We did not go to church regularly. As I became an older child, we did go when I was younger, but I remember, I think it was just such a worldview. You know, I was afraid that the kids were going to make fun of me because I didn't like reading out loud. And it was just all kinds of stuff like that. And so I don't remember going to church often enough. So I prayed for wisdom on how to raise Luke.
Yeah, we definitely didn't go to church a lot either. We would go every now and again, but my grandmother, I would sit on the porch with her. She had a screened-in porch at her house, and we would sit there and she would make me coffee. I mean, I was little. Okay.
Oh my
so
gosh.
a little tiny bit of coffee at the bottom of the cup, and it was mostly milk and sugar. And I would sit there and I felt like a big girl, and she would talk to me about everything, you know. And at the time, even as I got a little older, like 13, 14, she would still do it. But when I got to that age, I was like, I do not want to hear about this. I do not care. And now I look back on it, and even though I felt like that, I retained it all. I remember everything she said. And to this day, I still call her. She's 90. And I still call her and I talk to her and ask her questions, or like, what do you think about this? I read this today in the Bible, and it's so nice, you know, and it's important.
I wish that my grandmother were still here, because I used to go to church with her, but we wouldn't really talk about religion outside of church.
Right.
We just didn't have those conversations. So yeah, I wish that she were still here today to be able to have those conversations with.
Yeah.
That's so awesome that your grandmother is still living.
It is.
Grandparents.
Yeah. Yes. Both of Sadie's grandmothers are alive. So she has, it's great grandmother. So she's got a lot of grandmas, but no grandfathers at all, which is sad.
Yeah.
But, you know, we'll see them again.
Yes.
One day.
Yes, that is very true.
I actually decided to make pretzels with my sourdough.
You did?
I did, and they were so delicious. There's barely any left. Started eating them, and I had 5, and then I was like, those were really good. And then every time I came to the kitchen, they were out. So I was snagging all the It's probably not a good thing, but I didn't eat anything else. Because I was so full on pretzels.
Oh my gosh. So, you know so before I got sick, I had made cinnamon roll dough.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for it to rise. I think we mentioned this on the last podcast. So I waited and waited and waited. And then I got sick on Saturday night. So I didn't do anything with it. It sat out overnight. And it rose like crazy. But to the point where I was concerned that it maybe overproofed. Yeah. But I was like, okay, you know what? I mustered myself. I did it in batches. I got up and I rolled out the dough, and then I went and sat back down. And then I got up and sprinkled it, put the butter on it, and sprinkled it with the cinnamon sugar, and then sat back down. I was that exhausted, but I managed to get it done and made them, and Luke loved them. Nathan was like, yeah, they were a little sour, not like the other ones. They were a little bit more sour.
Right.
So he wasn't a fan of them, but Luke loved them.
Oh, wow.
So my house just takes a lot longer for things to rise.
Yeah.
But this past week, I did not put in the energy to actually feed my starter. It was a little bit more lazy. I didn't know what I wanted to make. So I just pulled it out and used the discard or the unfed starter and made oatmeal raisin cookies. Oh my God.
Oh, they were oatmeal raisin cookies?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. They were so good.
That sounds good. You use discard for them?
Yes. Yeah, I use discard. Nathan was not exactly a oatmeal raisin. He calls them fake cookies. So he was not so much a fan of that. He prefers chocolate chips. So I figured when I go to the grocery store again, I will pick up some chocolate chips. I really like this girl. I think her name on YouTube and her blog is Simplicity and a Starter. She has some delicious recipes. So she has a chocolate chip cookie one too. So I figured I would try to make chocolate chip cookies for Nathan.
That sounds really good. Sadie loves the little bites, the little Debbie little or the Intimates or whatever.
Yeah.
Little bites. And I saw a recipe for discard chocolate chip muffins, the mini muffins.
Yeah.
I really want to do that. But I don't have a mini muffin pan. Oh. So I need to get one. But they look really good.
Remember my house.
Yeah. I wanted to make regular sourdough bread, like sandwich bread, because Sadie has been eating toast every single morning.
Oh, wow.
And I'd rather be eating something that I know what's in it than eating like Nature's Own bread that stays really soft and fluffy for months. Yeah.
Your bread doesn't go bad on... Oh my gosh, mine starts to mold.
Our bread never molds. It will sit there and it'll be just fine. And it might get a little bit stale-ish, but not moldy ever.
Oh my gosh, ours molds.
Do you have Nature's Own?
Yes. Well, we go back and forth between Sara Lee and Nature's Own. But yes, it will eventually start getting mold spots on it. So ours lasts about 2 weeks if it doesn't get eaten before that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to make some. I think she'll like it,
Yeah.
And she likes the cinnamon and sugar on her toast, so she's all about it.
Nice.
I need a bread slicer.
I just have a bread knife, but I got one of those with the things where you can cut in between just to make it even slices. I got that because I am horrible about cutting evenly through the bread. Either it's angled when I cut or one slice is really thin and the next slice is really thick. And I think that I'm cutting them all the same size. And it just does not work.
Yeah, I have a really good bread knife. It works well, but I just feel like, and I was going to say, when you were talking about your cinnamon rolls, have you ever tried the dental floss to cut your cinnamon rolls?
When I get my dough with the cinnamon and sugar all spread on it and it's still in a rectangle, I pizza cutter it into individual rolls and then I roll it up. But I have heard of people doing
it works so well. I did it on my last batch and it does not squish them at all. It's amazing.
I even have, when I saw a video of this maybe not many years ago, but like 1 or 2 years ago, I actually went out and bought unflavored dental floss for that purpose. It is sitting in my kitchen drawer and I just have not used it.
Yeah. The same thing goes with me. It was literally sitting there for years and I opened it up last time I made cinnamon rolls and I cut with them and it worked really, really well.
Nice.
Yeah. I've been going to Tractor Supply and looking at more chickens and I've been really, really wanting more chickens. I want some other types of chicken.
Okay.
I want some Easter egger chickens. And I went to Tractor Supply yesterday and I was looking at them and I did not buy them. I came back and I told Adam, I was like, they have 4 different types of chickens and I really want them. And I went on about it all day long. And I mean, I wasn't bugging. Maybe I was bugging him. I don't know. But anyway.
In your excited state.
Right. And eventually I went to go lay in the bed and I started reading my Bible and it was talking about not wanting things that do not covet, Moses's laws, his 10 laws. And I was thinking to myself, I was being maybe not envious, not jealous, but I wanted them too much. And I kept talking about it and it made me feel bad. So I sent him a text message before I went to bed and I was like, I'm really sorry for bugging you all day for the chickens because we have more than we need here. I do not need more chickens.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't stop talking about it and I felt really bad. Sometimes we take things too far. We want it so badly.
Yes.
And we either get it, we act on it, and we'll get it, or we just don't stop thinking about it and it consumes our mind and it takes the place of things that we should be thinking about.
Yeah.
It's something so simple as chickens.
Yeah.
And I felt really bad about it. So I apologized to God and I apologized to Adam. And that's the good thing about reading your Bible every night.
Yes.
Because it brings things to your attention. Otherwise, you wouldn't think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there is a Bible story like that where basically somebody went outside of God's will and did something that God didn't approve of.
Right. Yeah. I don't know which story that is.
I can't recall now either.
So what did you do for Mother's Day? Did you have anything fun going on?
Yeah. So on actual Mother's Day, Luke went down for a nap and Nathan also napped. So I had some peace and quiet in the house. And I decided instead of trying to use that time to be productive, do things around the house, that I was going to truly take a time of rest. So I took a towel and my big floppy hat and my sunglasses and my book outside and sat on the back deck and read some of my book. So that was very relaxing. And
quiet time is priceless when you're a mother.
Yes.
You can't put a price on that. That's a pretty good gift.
Yes. And I just sat there and I this past Sunday, I was really trying to be, number one, enjoy my Mother's Day, to not do my typical stuff, but also to have that time of rest that we had talked about previously, just truly taking a Sabbath. Yeah. So I tried to do that. And then we went to my parents' house and celebrated Mother's Day with my mom. And I think Mother's Day just really snuck up on me. I just didn't realize it was coming so fast.
Yeah.
This year, I just feel like it came so suddenly, but Nathan's mother has passed away. And so after the fact, I was thinking I should have offered to go put some flowers on her grave.
Oh yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah, I didn't though. I just don't think that
Yeah, that's a
causes.
touchy subject. You don't know if you want to bring it up because you don't want to make them feel sad.
Yes.
But you also want to seem as if, and you want to be caring and loving.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
they talked about that at church, about how Mother's Day can be very happy for some people in the room and very sad for others for multiple reasons. Maybe you can't have children. Maybe your mother is gone. Maybe your mother figure in your life is not such a good mom.
Yeah. Our church said the same thing. I wasn't going to pretend like it was going to be everybody was so happy to be here because you might be missing your mom. You might not have had a mom. You might, your mother figure might not have been great, and you might have found a mother figure in somebody else. And that's kind of what our message was about. But, yeah.
It's very important to think about, I feel like until they said that, I wasn't thinking along those lines, I mean,
because I know for me, my mom and I are so close. So even though I know that Mother's Day is probably hard for her because, like I mentioned, my grandmother is no longer here.
Right.
It is still a joyous time.
Yeah.
For me, and again, it might be a little bit different.
And you're a newer mother,
Yes.
So for us and me too, it's exciting for us because these are our first Mother's Days.
Yes. Yeah. I think the one thing that listening to the service at church this week was to inspire me, especially as Luke gets older, goes to school or meets other kids that perhaps need a little bit more of a loving mother figure in their life, to open our home and welcome those children into our lives, that we might be able to show a little love and light to that might not see it at home.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's kind of something that I prayed about, was if we are meant to be that to some other child or somebody else, that we could show that love to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I try to think about that quite often because I, serve at church with other kids. And this weekend I was put with the kindergartners. So they're a little older.
You're not usually in that age range, right?
Yeah, I'm usually with the 2-year-olds. So it was such a different experience. And, it doesn't even matter. Even if you're at church, kids are kids.
Yeah.
They're still going to act like kids. They're not going to be perfect little angels, and I was, ready to pull my hair out, honestly, because the kids were just so different. You can't control kindergartners the way you can control 2-year-olds. So it was definitely interesting, but I was thankful for the experience, and everyone at church was so nice that day. And I just had so many good things happen to me at church. I was just very thankful. I literally cried before I went to bed, thanking God for putting all those people in my life, because we need fellowship with other women, other people in general. It's important.
Yeah. What is it, Titus 2? The older, wiser women should give their knowledge to the younger women.
Yes. And they definitely do. I've never really been in a situation other than with my grandmother, where these people just take you under their wing and, give you advice. And, I really take what older women have to say into serious consideration.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that there is actually this wonderful woman that Luke and I met. She is a librarian at our local library, and we met her through baby toddler story time when Luke was younger. And then she started working at the church nursery. It just sounded funny.
Nursery.
So she started working there, and we absolutely love her. She has a son that is a little bit older than Luke, and I just value her opinion so much. She is just so active in the community, in our church. Just especially that she does have a little bit more influence, not necessarily influence, but she's able to touch younger people's lives through working at the library. I feel like that's a place where you can definitely touch some people if you just show them some affection.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I run into her everywhere. So I try to talk to her and get her input, feedback, like, how do you do everything that you do? And the only thing that I can think is she must truly be in God's will, that she has the energy and the time to do everything that she does. I even saw her, I was working for my crafts, I saw crafts, especially at Christmas time, and she was on the PTA running and coordinating the craft show. I was like, how do you have time for all? Because you have a young child. He's maybe going into kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
Yes, she has a younger child
Mm-hmm.
and still doing all this stuff, working full time. And
Wow.
I look up to her. That's
Yeah.
it.
It is really nice. And it's nice to have people. I've been so stuck in a group of people in my life for so long that weren't so nice or not so full of the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm going to church on a regular basis, I feel like I get teary eyed or cry often when people are just so abnormally nice to me because I've never been around it. You know what I mean? I mean, they will go out of their way to help you, in anything.
Yeah.
They bring candy and they bring little cards and they bring all these things and they're like, give hugs and we all pray together and they're just so warming to my heart. And I can't imagine getting away from it at all. It is fulfilling to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I wouldn't have quit my job and started staying home with Sadie, that I wouldn't be where I am right now because I didn't have time for it before. It was like rush, rush, rush. And you finally get to the weekend and I just want to chill out. I want to take a mental break. And I didn't look at church the way that I look at church now, where that is my break. That is where I go to recharge for the week. I didn't look at it that way before. And I never got a chance to look at it that way because I was at work and I didn't want to go to church on the weekend. It was a task. Like I have to wake up early and I have to spend most of my morning there. And then by the time I get home, that's my whole entire Sunday. So I only had one day of the weekend,
Oh,
That's how
funny
I
because
thought of it.
yeah, I had so long off with Luke for maternity leave that I had a little bit of both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And while I, was struggling to go back and leaving Luke and everything, I definitely still feel church as a recharge. When we go to church, I feel like just I get so much more time back in my day.
That's really good. I think that, I might feel like that if I were to go back to work. Maybe I would still, I hope I would still feel that way because it's changed my life dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
Being home with Sadie has literally made my life do a 180, or is it a 360? I don't know. Can you say both? I went all the way around in a circle. No, like I turned around for real. I really did. I turned around completely and started walking in a different direction. And I'm so unbelievably grateful for it.
That's awesome. I think, especially after our last podcast where I was sharing my struggles, I did a lot of praying, especially after sharing that quite publicly. And I found this article that was written by, I'm assuming he was a preacher, talking about basically that God places you exactly where you were meant to be. So the job that you were in is where you should be doing your growing
That's
where
your
you're
calling
planted.
right now.
Yeah,
Right.
growing where you're planted. So after I read that, I felt so much peace the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I am not a person who, shockingly to anybody who is listening, that like knows, you might think that I'm very outgoing. I am not somebody that when I pass people in the hallway, I would typically speak to them more than saying like good morning or hello.
Right.
It's usually just like a barely good morning and I keep walking. But that day after I had read about growing where you're planted type of concept, I went out of my way to go talk to a girl that sits near my desk.
Mm-hmm.
And I have loved her makeup. It did this class together. She sat across from me in the class. And every day, her makeup looked so great.
Yeah.
And I never really had the courage. I didn't want to embarrass her or make her feel bad. But I was
Right.
like, you know what? I need to go tell her. I appreciate this about her. It seems very vain to be like, oh, I like your makeup. But like,
Right.
when I told her, I just can't describe the look that came to her face and how happy it made her. I was so glad that I took the time to go out of my comfort zone to express
Yeah.
that to her.
I think that God puts things like that on our hearts. See, I don't think it's vain or it doesn't matter what it is, because you don't even know what she's thinking or what she's going through. And if something is put on your heart for you to say something to someone, regardless of what it is, if it's positive at least, that God puts it on your heart for you to do that because you could change someone's whole entire day.
Yeah.
They could be, you don't know what their brain is going through. They could be having really hard time.
Yeah.
And just a simple, sweet thing for someone to say could brighten their whole day. It's happened to me many times. Other people saying things to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, maybe I'm not a horrible person, or, it's like I look at myself differently because I can see like someone else see something in me.
Yeah. You see it through somebody else's eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very true. So anyway, I just wanted to have that little follow-up from the last episode that it has gotten a little better.
Yeah.
It still sometimes is bad. And I was telling you that I've noticed that the mornings that I take the time to read my Bible, which is most mornings, but because of different circumstances or whatever, there have been more mornings that I have missed in the past couple of weeks. And when I do take my time to read, take the time to read my Bible in the morning, those days I am in a much more positive mood. I can tell that I'm just overall happier than the days that I don't. Yes.
Yeah.
That I'm much more negative on myself. I'm much harder. Things always just seem so much worse than they actually are. So I think it's definitely important to read something. And sometimes I don't even have the energy. I just open the Bible, to like a quote that I've already highlighted.
It is the book.
Yeah.
That was a very accurate description. The book.
Open the book. And just read literally one single verse.
Yeah.
That's all I had the energy for that day. But just doing that is something.
Yeah. It definitely is. I can tell a complete difference in everything about my life. I have been praying every night. I want to start doing things the right way. I actually have been fasting, not as like more of just, I want to be doing what God wants for us to do. And I feel like food and things like that can become so being a glutton, and I don't want to sin in that way. And so I've been trying to do 16-hour fasts, and I've been doing pretty good this will be my third day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I feel like when you read the Bible every day, it inspires you to do better in every single aspect of your life. And you feel peaceful while you're doing it.
Yeah.
If sometimes you could be like, you know what, I want to go on a diet because I want to lose some weight. And you can dread it. Like, I can't have this and I can't have that, or I have to stop eating, or all these things, or I need to like cut back on this, or I have to drink all this water today and I don't even want to drink water, And I feel like when you put God in it and you ask him and you pray to him to help you through whatever it is, whether it be dieting or fasting or waking up earlier in the morning to like get things done, he has got you. He's there and he helps you through it all. I can tell the difference.
That's awesome. Speaking of being time to eat and all of that, we are going to wrap it up here. We hope that you have enjoyed this episode, that you have a blessed week, and we will talk to you all next week.
Thanks for spending a little time with us on the porch today. We are so grateful you're here. We pray this episode encouraged your heart, lifted you right where you are, and brought a little more grace into your day. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to follow along, join the Facebook page, and share the episode with a fellow mama. We'll be right here next week, saving you a seat. Same porch, same fellowship.